Welcome to After the Poll, the video series where I share all my thoughts and opinions on all of the comic books that I read for the current comic book week. I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content and you like me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, guess what? That's right, you came to the right place. So why don't you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. So this week's episode is insane, okay? I read 30 comic books this week and I was on vacation at the same time. Still managed to produce some videos. So this week, since I've read so many books, and if I did all the editing and everything else, this video would be just absolutely huge. So we're going to do a speed round this week, and for the first week I'm incorporating also in the GPA averages all the new #1 issues that I read on Worthy Ones. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's get started, and here we go. So the first thing we got is Marvel Comics. That's where we always kick it off. We got Eddie Brock Carnage. I thought the second issue was pretty solid as we get to see the symbiote continue to bond with Eddie. They go out on a search for a particular villain here. You might be surprised on who the villain is, but it was a very exciting issue, and I'm on board with this book. I think this is good. Believe it or not, Eddie and the symbiote do make a good match in some sick and twisted way. I gave this book a solid B, and I will be continuing it going forward. However, it was a little bit dialogue heavy for a second issue, but it needed to catch up the readers on what was going on with the character. All right. The next book we're talking about is One World Under Doom. This is issue 2. I thought this was another solid issue in my opinion. The artwork tended to be pretty solid. And what we get in here is just Doom making the Fantastic Four look like a bunch of idiots. Every time you think the Fantastic Four might get a jump on Doom, Doom has a contingency plan, and he basically makes himself look like the hero and makes the heroes look like villains. That's kind of his thing here. And obviously, we all know this. The Thing loses his powers here, and so what is the Fantastic Four without the Thing? Now, it's not to say that this stuff has not been done before, but if you're newer to comics and you've never read these stories, this is brand new, and, you know, it is a fun read. I've enjoyed it, so I also gave One World Under Doom a solid B. The next book we're talking about is New Champions. This is issue 3. This is one of those books that is really on the fence if I'm going to drop it or not. And speaking of dropping comic books, I think I'm going to do a video this Sunday on all of the comics that I will be currently dropping, because reading 30 books a week is just, it's not attainable. I cannot do it without probably getting burnt out. So there's going to be a video where I will showcase the books I'm dropping. So speaking of New Champions, I found this book a little bit interesting because we wound up getting to see the New Champions versus the old New Champions, which was like Kamala Khan and Miles Morales Spider-Man and Amadeus Cho, and you wind up getting them to fight against each other, and it's all because of the Magnetrix, which is the female Magneto. Like, where she came from, I don't know. The fight was kind of cool, but it was very short-lived, and it established more relationships between these new champions and the other new champions. And do I really care enough, though, to keep going on with this series? I don't know. You'll have to see. It was an okay book. I gave this one a C-. The next book we're talking about is Deadpool Wolverine. This is issue 3. Now, this is a book where you just pick it up. It's fun. It has a lot of action in it. I think that's what's kind of cool about it. The artwork is outstanding. I think Benjamin Percy does a great job writing these characters. And obviously, the main villain here is Strife, and he is the one that's kind of wants to take over the world in his own way. If you love traditional comic books, you like lots of action, and you like gore, and you like Deadpool, and you like Wolverine, I think you're going to like this book. So overall, I had fun with it. Not the best thing I've ever read, but it is entertaining. I gave it a B-. Okay, and the next one we have is Psylocke. This is issue 3. That's a beautiful cover. And I thought that this was the last issue to this story. And it's not. It continues on. This is the last issue of the story arc. So I'm not sure how far this series is going to go, but this wraps up the whole conclusion with that guy that like likes to collect butterflies and shit like that. And it was a cool fight, but you wind up getting like the build up in the story of this villain all in this particular issue, and then it just wraps up just like that, and then it's diving into the next story arc. I was like, oh, so we got all that build up for pretty much nothing, you know? The artwork continues to be solid in this book, but it wasn't anything that just blew me out of the water. So we'll see if I continue reading this all the way through to whatever, I don't know, 6 or 7, whatever. This one gets a C from me. The next book we are talking about is The Avengers, and you can see some of these books I didn't even get a chance to bag or board. I didn't even tape these yet. But anyway, we got Avengers issue 24 as this continues the team up with the Black Cat. And the cool thing about this book really is that the Black Cat is in it. And it shows me that Jed MacKay, I think, misses writing Black Cat. And he has her father teaming up with her. You know, they went back in past. It was a story that had to do with gang. And the Avengers wind up prevailing at the end of the day, like of course they would. But I felt that this book was kind of like a build-up from issue 1 and 2. And it just kind of just wraps up just like that. The Ashton Combine, which was supposed to be this big threat, doesn't seem like a threat anymore. Where are we truly going with the Avengers? Well, the next issue has to do with One World Under Doom, and you're kind of left going, are they going to really deal with Doom or not? I don't know. You'll just have to wait and see. This one was very average, and the only reason why it was average was because Felicia brought that book to that average status. Otherwise, this book would be much lower. And at the end of the day, I think we're getting to the milestone issue 25. I think that would be the true determining factor. Do I continue this series or not? Let me know in the comments below. Are you guys still reading Avengers? All right, the next book we're talking about is Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is issue 31, as we do finally wrap up this story with Deadpool, right? Cody Ziegler writes both books, Miles Morales and Deadpool, and I felt like this one went on a little bit too long. I thought the story was dragged out. Like, you could have done this in like 2-3 issues, maybe max, where, you know, Deadpool was set out to kill Miles Morales or Spider-Man because they're trying to make money, and then it wound up going into something into completely left field with Agent Gaio, who winds up becoming like this god, right? And then it's leading into the next story arc when it comes to Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's funny, it has, you know, good wits in it, good action, but it was just drawn out. By the time I got to the last 6 pages, I'm like, okay, I'm done with this already. We're just like standing around talking to get to that 28 page count. So it was all right. Overall story though, when it comes to Deadpool, is way better, I feel, than Miles Morales. So this one winds up getting a C+ from me. All right, so here we go. We got X-Force issue 9. This is X-Manhunt part 6 of 7. I was in it just for the tie-in, okay? That's pretty much why I'm reading it. When you read an event and it crosses over with all the books, you're kind of like, okay, well, I wanted to see what's going on with Professor Xavier. You know, he's losing his mind. He's got a tumor. He needs to save his daughter. And there's this one resurrection egg that is left that he's using. And you get the reveal in this book who he uses that egg on. At first, I thought it was himself because he was dying. I was completely wrong, and you might be surprised. For me, this was like the best tie-in that it had to offer, but when it came to the X-Force characters, it had nothing to do with freaking X-Manhunt whatsoever. The only person that was there that was helping Professor Xavier was Sage. So, pretty decent story, but not the best. It winds up getting a C+ from me, and this bad boy is getting canceled after issue 10, so no reason to continue reading X-Force going forward. So following that, we got Exceptional X-Men, issue 7. This is called Collateral Damage. This has nothing to do with what's going on with Xavier. he's not even in the freaking comic book. Like, what the hell? Like, why do you even put the banner on there? The only mention in there was Bobby saying, hey, Professor Xavier escaped from prison. Otherwise, you don't see anything in there. I don't normally read this series, so as a reader of this comic, I was definitely disappointed by it. And you do get a cool reveal at the end of the issue, but do you really care? I mean, if you're not a reader of this, if you are an ongoing reader of this series, you might think that the reveal at the end was pretty good and you kind of like it. For me, though, not the best. This one wound up getting a D. Now we move on to Magic. This is issue 3. So, issue 2, I wasn't a huge fan of. I guess I put issue 3 on my pull list, maybe because of the nice J. Scott Campbell cover. So I did decide to read it, and my God, this was the worst issue yet. The first issue was great. It had lots of action. The concept, this plot premise was really good. But when it came to this issue, we wound up learning about like the villain, the demon, where it came from, which, you know, in all reality is all fine and good, but they spent the whole entire issue, blah, 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 blah. All these talking heads. I was bored to freaking death at the end of this comic. You did get a decent reveal at the end of it, but it's not something that I might continue going forward. This one got a D- from me. I was, oh gosh. All right, so at the end, we will give the GPA for Marvel for the week. So now we go on to DC Comics, who had actually the least amount of comics that I read for the week. I already talked about Absolute Flash and Sonic the Hedgehog. So now we're moving on to Zatanna. This is issue 2. Now, when it comes to Zatanna, right, and this is kind of funny because this goes hand in hand with Magic. I'm not the hugest Magic fan, so there's certain things in books that I just don't find entertaining, and Magic is one of those because I feel like it's a big cop-out for a lot of things. And the story and the characters, I just don't find myself attaching to. And this is probably just me not being the biggest DC fan when I was younger. And I think Zatanna is a nice character, but all the other characters surrounding her just doesn't do it for me. I do like the Enemy. I do like how she has this magical sword protruding through her and she's trying to get it out, and the art is decent in it. But it's just not something where I'm just like, it's just not for me. So at the end of the day, I can't sit here and give it an honest grade because it's just really not up my wheelhouse. So we're not giving this one a grade this week. So I'm probably not going to read it going forward either. The next book that I've been preaching for a long time now from DC is Batman and Robin. So Batman and Robin Year 1 is a fun read as we've gotten to see the past 6 issues now of Batman and Robin teaming up with each other, trying to fit in. That's what Robin is doing, and he's also being checked on by child services, and you end up seeing him going on these adventures. Robin winds up getting kidnapped, and you get to see Batman actually try to save him in this book, and it was a good adventure, and I really enjoyed it. And we get to see how much, like, really Batman cares, you know. And overall, it's just a fun read with great Chris Samnee artwork. I absolutely love this book. I give this one a B+. Where do you guys stand on this? You like it? We got 6 more issues to go on this. Then we move on to the next Batman book, which is always a lot of fun. This is Absolute Batman. This time you wind up getting to see Batman take on the Black Mask Gang, and he winds up getting the upper hand. This is the conclusion to the story arc. This book was fun. I always love the fun battles that it has and what Batman can and can't do, right? And in this issue, like, he totally punched this Black Mask kid freaking into the water, and it was just absolutely hilarious. He's got ears that rotate and crushes into the guy's mask and everything. It's just a fun read, and I that's what I like about it. It's just the brutality of Batman, and I think it's great. Overall, the first story arc has come to a conclusion. I liked it. I gave this one a B+. Do you guys agree or disagree? Where do you stand on Absolute Batman? All right, our next one is Detective Comics issue 1095. We do get a different artist on this book, so the art for me, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't quite like top tier. But we get to see kind of the fallout of this woman's drug that, you know, Batman was hooking up with, or Bruce Wayne was hooking up with, and then all things wind up going south. I mean, that's what's going on, and it is inevitable, and we're still trying to figure out, I think, who, what's her name? Asma? Is that her name? That the villain is in this comic book. It's pretty cool. We wind up getting some interactions with Batman and Joe Chill, and you could see the anger in Batman when it comes towards Joe Chill, and I love that emotional aspect, and that's what Tom Taylor does so well. So this one was another good read for me. Detective Comics gets a solid B. All right, and the last couple here from DC, we have Nightwing issue 124. So this book, I don't know, it's been very repetitive for me as we just get to see Nightwing kind of go through the different factions, the different gangs, and them trying to find a truce with each other. And Nightwing here is trying to save the Flyboys gang because they've been mutated, and he like donates all their blood, and then he winds up seeing this weird entity, and it's just, I don't know, it's just out there. I'm not really into this book as much as I thought I would be. I thought it would be getting better, and for me it's just not. The cliffhanger was interesting to try to see who the villain is, but they don't showcase her face. So does it keep me on for one more issue? I don't know. We'll see. Not the best for me. I gave this one a C. All right, so the next book is New Gods issue 4. I said it last time that I was dropping it. It's not for me, and this just confirms that. And it's not that it's a bad book. It's just the characters I don't know anything about. I don't know that lore. I can't find myself remembering all the stuff that's going on in this book. The only thing that I'm attached to is Mr. Miracle and Big Barda on how they're trying to save this baby, and Orion comes after 7 days. And that was the mission at hand, to protect this baby or this kid, because it could be a new god, it could be a threat, it could be a danger, and Orion is going after this kid no matter what, good or bad. And it's Barda and Mr. Miracle's duty to try to protect this kid. All the other stuff, like with the war and everything, I'm just not into it. But the artwork is so gorgeous in this book, and I love the way the characters look. So I want to know, are you guys into the New Gods? Let me know in the comment section below. I didn't give this one a grade either because it's just not for me. Find out at the end of the video where DC fell. Now, the most comic books that I read for the week here were in the indie scene, right? The new number ones were like Thundercats, Who Are the Power Pals, Crushed Depth, and then everything else after that. So first book we'll talk about is Silverhawks. This is issue 2. I have this book somewhere and I don't know where it is in my house, but I did read it, and Silverhawks issue 2 just confirms that I don't think I'm going to continue going on with this series. It looks like it's going to be a slow burn while we get introduced to all the different Silverhawks, which is not a bad thing, right? Because you want to know where they came from, where their past lives are, and then you wind up going to get the formation of the team. I just can't get into the artwork in this book. It looks just too, I wouldn't say amateurish, it's just too cartoony. And for characters that have that much tech and shiny armor, you want that fine detail. I say the same thing with Iron Man, and you just don't get that here. And it just doesn't really capture me, kind of takes me out. So it wasn't a horrible story. You got to learn about the guy who plays the guitar and where he came from. C- for me. Then we move on to Those Not Afraid, issue 3. This book, I don't know anybody who's really talking about this book, but this is something that you should read. And it's about 2 serial killers who are having a battle against each other on who can kill the most people. And some of the closest people attached to these serial killers don't even know who they are, obviously, right? And it's such a great mystery, and you cannot wait to find out how this whole thing is going to wrap up, because it's only one more issue until it's done. But the things that these guys do with their victims is just absolutely insane. And again, you're getting some of the closest family members starting to put the pieces together on who the murderers are. And it's sad and it's emotional and it's a great read. This one's from Dark Horse. I definitely suggest picking this one up. This one gets an A+ from me. I never thought I was going to like this book. I'm happy I picked it up when I did. Then we move on to G.I. Joe. This is issue 5. If you've been wanting some action from G.I. Joe, guys, this is it right here. There was a ton of action in this issue. It was like a freaking, like, you know, you watch the episode on TV and you just see blast after blast and battle after battle. And the big thing is you just got Clutch, who is the G.I. Joe that's been infiltrating Cobra Base, finally relays the information to Duke, and that's how all this battle starts off, and it is insane. Cobra Commander's off the chain. The guy is like evil than ever. Destro's doing his stuff. You would think that maybe based off of some variant covers that you would find maybe the Baroness finds some sort of attraction to Destro and they get together. No, that's not the case whatsoever, man. It's like Destro goes against the Baroness in this one, and his lover is Chameleon. So, I mean, overall, this is a fun book. This one gets another A+, top pick from me. Definitely read that one for sure. Okay, another fun book is Bug Wars. This is issue 2. Really interesting title that Jason Aaron has come up with here, as he has had this kid who has a father that was into bugs. He was like a scientist or something. He wound up getting killed, and in this issue, he winds up waking up in the backyard. There was something that happened that shrunk him down like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And in this issue, he's like captured. He has to do battle against all these other bugs. You learn about all the other bug factions. And I absolutely loved it. However, there's one little flaw to this. This book can overwhelm you with all those different factions, right? And you're kind of like, who is this group? Who is that group? So it does throw a lot at you, but you want to find out his journey, what this amulet is, who these other characters are. And I do want it to go back to the house from time to time, right? I think that will be an interesting concept. And who these bug characters hate, you'll have to find out to read it. But oh my gosh, this was a good book. Not quite perfect, not quite the top pick. It gets an A- from me. The next book is Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger. This is issue 4. This book winds up dropping big time for me because of the artwork. The artwork takes you out of the story compared to what it was. You know, when you read the previous 3 issues, you felt like you were Old West. You felt like you were in this grittiness, and the artwork is not necessarily bad in this comic, but I just feel like it doesn't fit a Spawn book. It's almost cartoony. It tries to be dark and, or I don't know, gruesome and gory, and it does that, but it just feels off. And in this story, you wind up getting to see Gunslinger track down the person, Wyatt, I think his name is, on trying to find him out to see if he could get his sister. And it's all about this circus that this guy lost, and now Wyatt owns this circus, and there are these demons. He shoots them all down, this and that. It was all right. It wasn't bad, but again, that artwork takes it down. I like the previous 3 issues. I'm not sure where we're going with the art going forward. Hopefully we don't stay on this artist. This one got a C+ from me. All right, next book we're talking about is The Rockefellers. This is issue 4. When it comes to The Rockefellers, I think I might be dropping this. I'm kind of on the fence with this. It's too much of a slow burn. Reminds me of Hornsby and Halo. It's just like we learn about this family who has come from the future, and they're protecting this artifact, and we have this bounty hunter that is going after them. But the problem is with this comic book is it doesn't really progress the story all that much. and we just see like the everyday lives of these characters, which in many ways wouldn't be bad, but there's almost too many of them. How many pages are we going to spend with the old grandfather running with old women and the women going gaga after him? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't find that very entertaining. We see a couple of pages with like the daughter going to school and, you know, the other boy doing something, but it's just not enough to still get to know the characters. I don't know. We need to do something different in here to really capture me at least. However, if you like it, that's awesome. Let me know in the comments below. This one wound up getting a C-. It's definitely could be on the chopping block. The next book we're talking about is The Sacrificers. This is, I almost said issue B. This is issue 15. The Sacrificers is a solid read once again. It doesn't come out every month, which kind of takes you out of the story. But this time we learn about the sun god. And he is going after, trying to go after anybody that took his daughter away from him. And he's basically destroying the entire world so he can remake it in his own way. And at the end, he comes face to face with a character that you've been familiar with from the very start. This book is very interesting. It's always very entertaining. I totally love this book. And, you know, I always will recommend Sacrificers. At this point, if you haven't read it, wait for a trade to come out. This one wound up getting a B. All right, and then we go on to Saga. Here we go. This is issue 72. When was the last time an issue of Saga came out? And now it's getting ready to go on a break, as 2/3 of the story has now been completed, because that's what it says in the letters page, and now it's taking another freaking break. Listen, when it comes to Saga at this point, I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I read every single issue. This latest story just didn't really do it for me. There's too many delays. You know, there's different characters that you didn't get a chance to really learn about because there's so many interruptions with this series. It's definitely a disappointment. There is a cool story in here where we wind up getting the robots, the Prince of the Robots, wind up calling a peace with the Wreath, right? The Horned People, and there's no more war. And everyone's not sure, like, why is this happening? Because we've been at this war forever. Does it stay true? I don't know. Do you care? I really don't. This one got a D from me. Saga, unfortunately, has fallen off big time. And then we have one more book here. We got Conan the Barbarian. This is issue 19. It looks like we got one of the regular artists that were on this book. That's what people were telling me in the comment section. This book was awesome. Based off of this issue, this is the one that, you know, this is the book that lived up to all the other books, right? The previous two issues when I jumped on board were like the weakest of the series. This one was great as you see Conan come face to face with the jungle and the animals and everything else. And based off of what happened in the last story arc, he wound up losing his girl that he was with. Belit, I think her name was. The boat caught on fire. Everyone perished. He was the only one survived. And now there's someone going after him. Who that is, you'll have to find out and read it. But holy shit, this was such a great book. The art was great. Definitely recommend it. This one got an A+, another top pick from me. Before we go on to the GPAs, guys, let me know if you like this speed run better than like the hardcore edited stuff. I like to get opinions on what people like. I know this is a little bit more fast paced, and some people like that more fast paced option here. And I had to do it this way no matter what this week because of the 30 books. So let's go over the grades real quick, and I'll give you a GPA and who won for the week. Marvel has yet to win for a week, but we wound up getting Eddie Brock Carnage issue 2 was a B. One World Under Doom issue 2 wound up getting a B. New Champions issue 3 got a C-. Deadpool Wolverine issue 3 got a B-, while Psylocke got a average C. Avengers gets another average C. You seeing a trend here? Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 31, C+. X-Force, C+. Exceptional X-Men, D. Magic, D-. 10 books was read from Marvel, and it wound up getting a 2.1 GPA, which is almost a C- average, very close. DC Comics Starting off with those number ones, we got Absolute Flash issue 1, got a B+. DC Sonic the Hedgehog issue 1 got an A. Zatanna issue 2, I did not count in this. Batman and Robin year 1 got a B+. Absolute Batman issue 6 got a B+. Detective Comics issue 1095 got a B. While Nightwing dropped down to a C. The New Gods issue for me was not for me. So I counted 6 books for DC, wound up with a 3.0 GPA, which is exactly a B-. Then we finish off with those indie comic books. Thundercats Lost issue 1 got a B-. Who Are the Power Pals issue 1 got a B+. Crushed Depth issue 1 got a D+. Silverhawks issue 2 got a C-. Those Not Afraid issue 3 got a top pick, A+. G.I. Joe issue 5, top pick, A+. Bug Wars issue 2, A-. Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn, C+. The Rockefellers issue 4, C-. Sacrificers issue 15, a B. Saga issue 72, a D. Conan the Barbarian issue 19, A+. 12 books for the indies, and they wound up getting a GPA of a 2.8. They had the most books. They had the hardest challenge. But DC winds up coming on top with the least amount of books, and they made best of it. So congratulations, DC, for another win. Indies had a solid week as well. There was just certain books that just didn't quite make the mark that normally would. So there you guys have it. Even in a speed round, still 31 minutes. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Did you like it? And tell me what comic books you thought were your favorite this week. And as always, guys, there's more content right here for you to click on. Support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember, read your comics so we can have great comic conversation just like we did today. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you on that next video.